We live in complicated times. Today's society has created a narrative that people must obtain higher education in order to get a good-paying job. But what exactly are the consequences of attending college? How does rising tuition impact people? And does college really prepare the student to face today's world? In this documentary investigation, we investigate how college has changed through the years. And we asked students why they chose college and how tuition impacts them. All that coming up on The Higher Cost.
I'm a tremendous believer in education, but education has to be at a local level. We cannot have the bureaucrats in Washington telling you how to manage your child's education. So Common Core is a total disaster. We can't let it continue. We are rated 28 in the world. The United States, think of it, 28 in the world. And frankly, we spend far more per pupil than any other country in the world. By far, it's not even a close second. So here we are, we spend more money and we're rated 28. Third world countries are ahead of us. We're gonna end Common Core, we're gonna have education, an absolute priority.
President Donald Trump has made promises to fix the education system long neglected by politicians. We asked several students at an area community college about what they think of college and why they chose to attend.
Just for further education as a life experience too, as well. It seemed like it was necessary as well. So.
I actually didn't want to go to college for a really long time because I couldn't put my finger on what I wanted to do specifically, and I didn't see the point in going to school if I didn't really have any plans for why I was going to school. I really wanted to either study abroad in just like a language program or volunteer abroad. There was a program that I was looking into for a while, but in the end I ended up coming to college. So it was a lot my family because I would have, like I said, I would have gone abroad, but my parents and my family, I have a lot of younger siblings, and I couldn't leave them for a year or 6 months or any long period of time, and so that was why I decided to go to school closer to home. Because it is 2 more years that I'm around my family before I can always still go abroad in the future. It's just, for now, I'm closer to home.
It was heavily influenced by my parents at first, and sort of my high school as well, where we just kind of had, it was Gaston Christian, so they had us sit with a guidance counselor and okay, what college are you going to? It wasn't like a decision of, well, are you going to? It's just, okay, pick one, here's some. And yeah, it was just kind of, I felt forced a little bit, but I mean, overall it's for the best.
But you're embracing college now?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, now that I'm at the college I want to be at, yes.
We also asked how tuition is making an impact on them long term.
It was my decision, but as far as influence, seeing somebody else go to college made me want to go to college. That wasn't the case. It was more of my sister was going to college, and she's going to a 4-year private university, so it was really expensive. And my mom's getting help from that with FAFSA and everything. And if you have 2 children going to college at the same time, then you get more money per child, so I was really to help her out as well. So.
Well, currently entirely under financial aid, which actually works out great because otherwise I probably wouldn't be in school. I probably would just have a job that would get me through life. I wouldn't be in school if it wasn't being paid for with financial aid.
With employers fleeing for cheaper foreign labor, coupled with record high numbers of college students, the United States now faces a unique challenge. More graduates now have to compete with fewer jobs. But with United States President Donald Trump promising to bring back jobs, will we finally see unemployment rates come down?
But for too many of our citizens, a different reality exists. Mothers and children trapped in poverty in our inner cities, rusted out factories scattered like tombstones across the landscape of our nation. An education system flush with cash, but which leaves our young and beautiful students deprived of all knowledge.
Over the last 20 years, tuition rates have skyrocketed, with some students paying as much as $40,000. So what's behind this trend? Dr. David Shannon is a veteran of college education who has taught at several colleges from the 1980s to 2005, including at Hiwassee College and North Arkansas College. He offers his opinion for the recent trends of higher education.
For most people, the primary purpose of going to college is to get a good paying job. There's some people that their primary purpose is to learn. And the two aren't mutually exclusive, but they are two different purposes, and there are certainly other purposes that students could have in going to college, but I think those would be the two primary ones. If you look at the purpose of college from the standpoint of attaining a job for a student, in some fields they have a problem, because the college itself is aligned into different groups with commonalities, and the different kinds of colleges, the different junior colleges, community colleges, universities, the various names that you'd use for higher education, organize themselves into various groups, departments, divisions, colleges. If we're talking about universities, they generally have colleges within the university, and they're not necessarily aligned towards the jobs that their students will be looking for in the end. And that's a problem when you're doing a major. It's oftentimes the students' electives that are the most important thing, because within a major, everything's the same. Everybody takes the same package of courses, or close to the same package of courses. So the more important thing for many students is what electives do they have to add to it.
With the newer options of technical training and online schools, what does the future hold for colleges and students in America?
I think people are upset about what's happening in the schools today for a lot of reasons. Historically, there was reading, writing, and arithmetic. And in some people's minds, that's all they need. Some people think the school is being a generator of people to go out and immediately get a job. Some people think of the school as being the K through 12 system as being purposed to put the student into college. And it is both those things, but it's neither of those things. Some people see it as a means of propaganda to indoctrinate, and it certainly does that. In the past, everyone stood up, saluted the flag, said the Pledge of Allegiance, and things like that. And that may be done today at some schools, not done at others. But the school defines a neighborhood. If they take the schools away from those neighborhoods for the K through 12 systems, then those little communities tend to die. There's no cohesion there. Having lived in a very rural area, I remember talking with a lot of people that, like myself, had moved into the area and had not really joined the community until their children went to school. I personally think that the monies involved in educating the students need to follow the students. I've lived in areas where the public schools were used by some people, but not used by others. When my family lived in Florida the first time, in some of the counties around us, most of the people were in private school. They were getting no help from the state or from the federal government towards educating their children, but they were still paying for it with their taxes. But most of them chose to put their students in private schools, and I'm not talking about rich people. I'm talking about middle-class people, because they did not like what the schools were doing. I think in general, our education system will improve if it's redesigned to follow the students. If the money follows the students, the public education systems will improve.
Dr. David Shannon now works for the U.S. Customs and Border Protection as an agricultural specialist. Whatever the future holds for colleges, Americans have always taken risks as our country grew and developed over the centuries. It's what made America great. In the words of Alex Jones by InfoWars, he says, quote, "We are the dreams of our ancestors manifest in reality." As the demands of 21st century society continue to demand credentials of higher education, people will continue to flock to colleges for at least the foreseeable future. Until next time, I'm Jonathan Shannon. Thanks for watching.